Great. Hello, and thank you to the chair for inviting me to this session of this year at CIDOC 2020 conference. My name is Cristina Mosconi, and I'm a postdoctoral research associate at the University of Exeter Business School. According to the session leitmotif, so using digital tools to reach new target groups, as well as the general conference theme, the digital transformation of cultural heritage sites, I really want to introduce you to a particular case study, the augmented reality application for the National Trust site of the Teen Coast in Cornwall. As we will see here, the choice of implementing immersive technology is actually the result of the research of the visitor intelligence, which has allowed to choose the best digital tool to target new audience for the site, but in harmony with the site's needs and to a larger extent, the local community. Before looking into more details to the case study, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the broader research context in which the specific implementation sits. The case study is one of the several immersive technologies developed within the project I'm working at, the European-funded Interreg project Vista AR. The Interreg France Channel INGER project actually focuses on creating new visitor experiences at cultural heritage sites across the Channel in France and the UK. At University of Exeter, the initial idea of the project was actually to use our own expertise in advanced analytics to help cultural heritage sites to improve their business models and really to help them innovate anyway. In collaboration with the founding body Interreg, we have been able to associate with academics experts in the development of virtual and augmented reality application for cultural heritage sites. This has brought to the start in 2017 of an Anglo-French collaboration, which, as we see in the infographic, benefits from the collaboration of a total of 8 partners with a wide variety of profiles, as well as 6 deployment sites, which are listed in the image on your left. For the past 3 years, the Vista team has been working on the development of several AR and VR devices using virtual helmets, tablet, immersive room, and scale models. The majority of these has actually been developed and tested in collaboration with 2 project partners, the Exeter Cathedral and the Chateau of Fougères. I'm going to show you now a very brief and short trailer that we've got for the cathedral. Can you all hear it?
No, we can only see it.
Oh. Well, it doesn't say anything, it's just music, so you're not losing anything about it. So this is a quick show reel, and then what we aim is before the end of the project, all this tool developed will be tested and deployed at 4 different sites: the National Trust Teen Coast, l'Orient on the Water Museum, Southwest Coast Path, and the Valois Garden. Okay, let's look now at the specific case study of Botallack. So Vista Solution have been developing an augmented reality experience for the post-industrial site of Botallack, which is a Cornish tin and copper mine. From documentary sources of the mines, those mines have been in operation by the 16th and the early 17th centuries, and they reached their peak in the 19th centuries. The site has really played such an important role for the industrial development of the whole nation that the famous Crown's engine houses drew Victorian tourists to view the live workings. As you could see actually in the picture on the right, in 1865, the Prince and Princesses of Wales descended the incline, ensuring a fashion for more visitors to follow. And Botallack mine actually started to organize underground tour. Unfortunately, from here onwards, a series of mining accidents really led to the definitive decision of closing the mining site of Botallack in 1914. The site was then abandoned and uncared until the National Trust became the principal landowners and manager of the mining areas in 1995. So overall, Botallack has a long tradition as a touristic destination, but lately, the type of audience which the site has been attracting is more visitor fascinated by the charm of the natural landscape, as you could see in the picture. Moreover, the state of the general negligence of the site turned almost into ruins, as you could see, and therefore a total neglection of this industrial relevance has fostered a more romantic view of the site. This has actually been particularly informed by the screen mediation of Batalak, which is actually the main location, the filming location for the BBC One TV series Border, both for the first original release in 1975 and then in the more recent redo in 2015. The screen mediation is actually so strong that it has been pervading also the official interpretation offered at the site. As you can see on the slide, inside the building of the Count House, the National Trust provides some basic information about the mining industry of Batalak, but the fact that the site has been used as setting for the TV series inevitably plays an important role within the interpretative message. As you could see, there's a massive screen projecting some of the scenes of the TV series. Yet, the whole area is a World Heritage Site and is internationally significant because of the story it tells about the Industrial Revolution. Batalak is really one of the main crucibles of the Industrial Revolution. It's where distinct technology came from and went on to power to the economy and the industry that has evolved in what we see today. And the locals are particularly proud of their mining heritage. One of the big issues with interpreting the site for the visitor, it's really how different they look now to how they would have looked like back in the industrial heyday. So there are important stories to tell from the point of view, but when you are in that landscape, as you could see before, you just see nature taking back the polluted, scarred landscape. So you cannot really imagine how busy it was, how polluted, how noisy, how dangerous it actually was. And the romantic sceneries of the site as depicted in the TV series have somehow hidden these stories. But really here, when the technology and the transformation comes in place. So, as you can see here, at Exeter Business School, we are leading the academic research and data analysis of the visitor experience, employing various methods of collecting and analyzing visitor comments and behaviors. The visitor journey, as you can see in this infographic, is often conceived as a linear timeline from pre and post visit. And for each stage, it's possible to use specific methods to gather information about how people behave there and how they engage with the site. If we were to think at the methods to understand the visitor journey as a wheel, you will have what we have called it data sphere, a work which is actually being recently published, as you can see on the right side, on the right bottom corner. The data sphere is a visitor-centered framework that illustrates the data generated by visitors within the broader approach to the site. It is panoptic in that each data stream can actually be captured and analyzed semi-automatically with a device, rather that could be a smartphone or a tablet. The data sphere provides really important opportunity for curatorial activities at touristic sites, since we know that at the core of the digital of design of a digital experience, there is always an understanding of what we label the pre-visit, as you can see here. So actually, who your visitors are, where they come from, and the reason why they're visiting your site. It gives you also instruction on how to gather these types of information when you need to start to design the experience. Using this approach is precisely what we did for Batalak. We've been collecting and analyzing visitor intelligence data from the National Trust membership scheme, as well as data gathered during previous surveys of the local residents. These has led to find the main parameters around which the design the new digital interpretation. So, for what concerns who is the audience of the National Trust, and particularly who are the visitors that the National Trust wants to target. As you can see here from the table, the visitors are really the one that want to discover more about the history and of the site and generally of the landscape. In particular, we are wanting to target explorer families and what we call it the curious mind, who want to know more about the story and the past of the landscape. In terms instead of which is the geographical focus for this interpretation, we've been focusing on 1 square kilometer of the coast of Batalak, an area which includes, as you can see from the table, also the camp house, the different ruins of the stamp, as well as the famous Crown Engine houses. And, well, of course, last but not least, which is the main message for the interpretation? What are the purposes of the interpretation? Those are mainly 3. The first one is offer an accurate reconstruction of the site to give the visitor the opportunity to see the landscape as it would have been, dirty, noisy, and industrial. Second, we want to improve accessibility, so digitally explore lost or hard to access features and areas such as the underground mines. And again, last but not least, secure the local identity, because as we said before, the locals are really proud of their mining heritage. So this has led to the creation of an augmented reality app located at Butalak. A big stone model of the landscape trigger this reconstruction, which is a 3D carved model of 1 square kilometers of the landscape as it looks today. Using tablets, as you can see from the picture, people will be able to see how it looked like back in the 1860s and actually interact with the reconstructions as well and access the different point of interest, which offers extra information on the mining features. But the main point is actually why a technology such as the AI would be the best tool to convey this interpretive message. I think that I've got a bit of time now and I can show you very quickly this reconstruction that we provided through the app. Is just, I'm not going to go through the whole 3 minutes, but just to give you an idea. Apologies for the bad resolution of the screen, but it's actually a 4K video, which is running on a Mac now, and it's not doing its best. Okay, I understand that you don't see the sound and you don't hear the sound, so I can just go to the next slide. So as I was saying, like why a technology such as augmented reality would have been the best tool to convey this interpretative message to that specific target audience. So we started from 2 very particular issues we wanted the technology to solve. So first of all, there's a problem that you cannot imagine and immerse in how the landscape would have looked like back in the 1860s, because it's so changed now, it's so different. So when you arrive at Butalak, you actually sorry. Can you still hear me? I think that is a connection is gone.
No, we still hear you.
Okay, brilliant. As I was saying, like when you arrive at Butalak, you cannot imagine how busy it was, how polluted, how noisy, how dangerous it was. Also, the screen mediation of the mining role of the site has led to the creation of an image of the industrial landscape, which is highly discordant to the historical records of it. So the ability of the augmented reality technology to superimpose an historically accurate reconstruction over the reality, it really gives a good idea to introduce the authentic grittiness, I suppose, back into the experience. Okay. The other big problem that we have is interpreting the underground, because obviously the underground shaft in the mining are one of the most important components of the history of the site. But nowadays, people cannot actually see them and cannot see what runs below their feet when standing on the cliffs of Butalak. Most of the visitors also are oblivious of the extent or even actually the existence of the huge networks of shafts running underground and even under the seabed. Moreover, the mines are almost inaccessible now, and as the majority of the mines actually in Cornwall, and the descent to the few still open are actually something not easy accessible to everyone. So the AR technology really offered and the perfect solution for this issue, because it allows to embed a 3D model on the underground shaft, which has been obtained by LiDAR scanning of the structure, and then align it to the surface 3D model. In that way, visitor can actually appreciate how the underground work is much as important as the surface one. The opportunity of visually overlaying to the current landscape the historical one is also critical to inform the visitors about the key elements of local cultural identity. Some sort of local resistance to tourism following the economic shift has often been discussed in terms of the persistence of a local industrial identity. there is still considerable pride, as I said, in that traditional way of life and in what their forebears achieved under such difficult circumstances, which is an aspect often overlooked by the mainstream interpretation. Despite the local initiative to promote tourism in the area, the results of a survey found that 20% of local residents wanted to see significant restriction on tourism growth. And unfortunately, this argument is even more relevant now with the pandemic. People are discovering more the nature and the heritage sites at the doorstep as a means to relax and to avoid crowded places. But really, the hope is that experiencing this immersive interpretation, people are actually starting to experience not just the natural beauty, but also the history, getting a deeper understanding of the locality. So to conclude, using digital technologies to reach new audience in a sustainable way is possible when we start doing it from its core, so from the audience research and the more generally, the visitor intelligence. It is critical to understand who your visitors are and decide what the technology, which are the best technology you actually have to choose and are applicable, and why would you implement this type of technology in that specific place. So frameworks like our Vista AR DataSphere have been decided precisely with the scope to help the sites who do not have the experience of developing targeted digital experiences and assess them which aspect of the tourist attraction require improvement. Thank you.